Do you have obsessive Christmas disorder? Do you like to organize your shoes? Um, do you worry if there is too many red M&Ms in the sea of your brown and blue M&Ms? Do you want to organize that? News. This is not OCD, people. OCD is a anxiety disorder that causes significant distress in those that have it. And I want to just shed some light on some of the stigmas and kind of bust the myths behind it. So let's look at the first one, okay? Um, OCD is about germs and organization. Okay, so there could be people that have OCD, that have cleaning obsessions or have issues with organization, making sure things are lined up orderly, but this is very, very, very small fraction of what OCD encompasses. Um, OCD could be worrying about worrying. It could be spending hours and hours looking at an email because you're not sure if you're using the right wording or if it's not conveying the feeling you want. OCD can be fear of wearing certain colors because you're afraid it will affect your day. It could be not purchasing a certain shoe because it reminds you of a traumatic event and you don't want to have connections with that event. So it could be very complex and it's dependent on the person. Not everyone that has OCD is going to have issues with cleaning. Not everyone that has OCD is going to have to organize things or be a neat freak. I'll tell you one thing. If you walked into my room, everything is everywhere. There's nothing clean about my room. There's nothing organized about my room, but I have OCD and it manifests in different ways. It could be superstitious. It could be, it could be replaying that event over and over again from the past that, should I have said this? Should I have done that? OCD can be asking people for reassurance about things. And no matter how much you ask somebody for that reassurance, you don't feel like it's the correct answer. So let's see here. Another one, OCD is about hand washing. Okay, I know many people with OCD that don't have hand washing issues. Another one is the assumption that people with OCD have type A personalities and that they're like goody two shoes about things. This isn't true either. I know people that are very laid back that have OCD, but the OCD is not laid back, but they are. So they can be, last minute procrastinators on things, but they might obsess about like what umbrella to bring out into the weather and if that would affect the forecast or something like that. The other myth I hear is a lot of times people say, I am OCD. People with OCD, it's not something that you are, okay? Like you have it, but that's not who you are. It's like somebody that has diabetes saying, I am diabetes. No, you're not. You have diabetes, but your disorder does not define you. Another one is people with OCD are weird. So, no, people with OCD are normal, just like you and me. There's people that are very high functioning students that, succeed a lot in their lives, have normal friendships with family and friends, and you might not even know that they have OCD. Here's just some common people, very successful celebrities that have OCD. Daniel Radcliffe, Justin Timberlake, Cameron Diaz, Leonardo DiCaprio. So those are just all some people that have it, that have lived normal lives. So another one is that we have to have things, people with OCD have to be in the lines, or they stay according to the rules. Like they're very, I guess, what's the word? They stay within the lines. They're, conventional. This isn't true either. People that have OCD can be some of the most creative people that you'll ever meet. Like they think outside the box. They use their creativity because people with OCD can be, you think of, they have all these thoughts that go in their heads all the day. Like people trying to come up with creative ways to fix their OCD, things like that. So People can be pretty zany and unconventional that have OCD. Very intellectual as well. Just because you have OCD doesn't mean you're stupid or unaware that you're having thoughts. People with OCD are very aware of their thought patterns. They know that it's an obsession. But it's a distressing event that just replays over and over again. But this doesn't mean that they're not aware of their thoughts. What's another one? So here's some things that another one is OCD is about being quirky. Just because you collect your cat's hairballs and put them in a jar does not mean you have OCD. That just means you're weird. Um, so people that have OCD aren't necessarily quirky. Another one is, let me look here. People with OCD are just able to turn off their brains or like just get over it, just stop thinking about it. That's probably the worst thing you could say to someone that has OCD, is telling them to just get over it. It's not something that's in their control, the thoughts that come into their head. Just like, I don't know, you have thoughts all the time that go into your head. You don't actually control them. They just kind of come and go. But people with OCD, it loops and it's not necessarily in their control to stop it. The more you try to stop the obsessions, the worse they get. Another myth is that compulsions are visual or like it's going to be cleaning, organization. It's not necessarily the case either. A lot of times people with OCD can struggle with internal compulsions, compulsions you can't see. You can be looking at someone that looks very put together on the outside. It doesn't show any symptoms or signs of visual compulsions, but they're all in their head, they're all mental. It could be mentally reviewing things over and over again. You could see someone drafting an email, looks perfect, but they've spent maybe an hour trying to fix it, but you wouldn't have known that because you weren't there with them. It's kind of a hidden it's a hidden anxiety disorder. Like you don't always see it. It's not always visible until you can see the distress they have from it. So if someone comes to you with OCD, oh yeah. Okay, another one, OCD is not about being a perfectionist. Not everyone with OCD is going to be neat or perfect. Again, like if you came into my room, nothing is in order. Everything's all over the place. But yeah, I still have OCD. I still have obsessions and compulsions. They're just not related to organization and cleaning. It's just a broad range of obsessions and compulsions that one with OCD can deal with. Now, going on to what to say to people with OCD. If somebody comes to you and says that they have OCD, like if they disclose that to you, never assume what their obsessions and compulsions are. Don't be like, oh, so you must really like to clean. Come over and clean my house. Like I can certainly use you. Like, no, don't say that. It's best to find out from them what is their obsessions and compulsions, if they're comfortable disclosing that to you. If you're a coworker with them, create an open space for them to discuss their what makes them stuck. You can just tell them, look, I'm here for you. If you want to tell me what makes you stuck, and we can talk about it. But never assume what their obsessions and compulsions are, because that's just making the stigma worse, and it's going to separate the understanding that you can have for that person. So create an open space for them to discuss what's challenging them and what can help them through it when they're facing their obsessions. That's one piece of advice I can give you, is creating just an open space for them to talk to you about it. Yeah, so those are just some ideas on what OCD is. It's so broad, and I think together we can try and raise the awareness of what OCD is about so that people can get the help they need and, not be drowned out by the stigma. So thanks for your time today, and I will talk to you soon. Fight stigma.